Thank you for tuning into the Prosperity for America channel. Today we're going to go over the details on what the employment market is like with regard to looking for a new position. To get right to the point, right now for the month of July 2022, we would still rate this a good time to look for a new position. And here's some of the information as to why. First of all, some historical backdrop. Our country typically has a recession every 5 to 7 years. Matter of fact, over the last 75 years, we have had 11 recessions. And yes, there's a lot of concern out there for that particular potential problem, and obviously we want to be keeping an eye on that. But today you're tuning in to find out what does it look at like right now. And right now it's still pretty good. Last month, a couple of key things. There was 229,000 people that were started collecting unemployment claims last week. Now, that's really still a good number. It's up a little bit, so that's just a weekly trend, and it tends to float in ranges, and really for the last 10 weeks it's been floating between 200 and 225,000. So this week it went just a touch higher than normal. But the number for us to start to get concerned is around 325,000 at our current population size. So right now, the threat of getting laid off isn't as great as it is at times. And right now, the prospects for you to find a new position are excellent. And here's why. There are currently being advertised 11.4 million jobs that are being paid advertised, meaning people are spending money, companies are spending money to advertise these positions. So this is not, they put a sign out at the front door. They're actually spending their money to promote the position that they have open. Well, there are currently, it did go up a touch last month. Even though the unemployment rate stayed steady at 3.6%, the amount of people unemployed in our country last month went up from 5.86 million people to 5.95 million people. But what that means is there's nearly 2 open jobs for every unemployed person in our country. We have 5.95 million people out of work, and we have 11.4 million jobs being advertised. Now, going into some of the meaty details, like something that is unusual is there's a lot more people looking for work than typical. During normal times, 8 to 10% of the American public would be open to looking for a new position. Right now it's over 20%, just a little bit, but nonetheless over 20%, which means since there are 158 million Americans at work as of last month, because the number did go up to a little bit, that means 20% of 158 million is 31.6 million people that would probably be open to looking for work right now. And then if you add in the 5.95 million people that are out of work, that gets us roughly to 37 million people that are looking for a job in our country right now. And there are 11.4 million job openings. What that translates into is there's only about 3 resumes per job, all right? Which is really, really low. And yeah, sure, I mean, your company will probably have a little bit less because there's a lot of people who apply to more than one company. So that would throw that number up a lot. Say the average person applied to 10 different places. So that would mean that we might have 30 or 40 resumes. But again, the amount of resumes you collect doesn't have anything to do about whether or not that company finds the kind of person with the kind of experience that they're looking for. So nonetheless, what that means is employers should be a little bit more open to those that might be short a little bit on experience, but wanting to have a better position. So if they're on the employer side, obviously employers need to be good at training people right now. All right. So July 2022 is a good time to look for work. The inflation rate is a concern. It's trending upward. And eventually it does, within 18 to 24 months of when the inflation rate goes above 5%, there typically is a recession. Now, the reason is quite simply math. If inflation is going up at 8.6% as it is here in July, and the person's wages, the average wage is only going up maybe 3 to 4% per year. That means people are losing 4% per year in potential things that they could spend money on. Sooner or later, people start buying less, and sooner or later, there's not as many people needed to make things. Okay, so sooner or later, it does feed into a negative impact. But right now, which is all we're worried about, and notice we're not getting any ideas or concepts as to how to fix this problem. What we're just trying to tell you is, like, right now is a good time to look for a new position. Finally, on this note, people that have degrees in engineering, the unemployment rate is only 2.2%. People have a 4-year degree, the unemployment rate is only 3.1%. And I know I briefly mentioned that the national unemployment rate is 3.6%, which held steady for the 3 months in a row now. Although more people have gotten to go to work, but then there's been where the workforce has increased slightly because more people are looking at jobs because the wage rates have gone up. So all in all, anytime you want to get an update each month on what the prospects are for you to look for a new position, just go to the Prosperity for America channel, look for our monthly forecast for the job market, and maybe you'll get to kind of get clued in a simple, less than 10-minute summary of what things are like right now. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.